Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, OFP Nation. Welcome to another episode of Forex Focus, where we talk all about mastering the art of trading with a strong mindset. Nick, my dear friend, are you with me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I sure can.
Beautiful. We just want to say hello to those of you who are joining us live. If you are here with us live, let us know in the comments what your is. I can never talk right. What your name is and where you are from, so we could say hello. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay and hanging out with us. I am, you know, ready to dive into today's topic. Um, and which was inspired by the book Trading in the Zone. Has anybody read the book Trading in the Zone? If you have, please drop a note in the comments and let us know if you've read it. And if you learned anything from it, if you liked it, we'd love to hear your thoughts about that book. Hello, Adit. It's very good to see you, and it's so great to hear that you read Trading in the Zone. I think Trading in the Zone is the Bible of day trading. And I think that everybody needs to read this book at least one time. So thank you for sharing that. No matter how solid your analysis is for your trading or how reliable you believe your strategy will be, you can never know what the market will do next. Would you agree? Nick, do you agree?
Yes, that's true.
I know he agrees, but I got to make sure
All
Poke,
right.
are you there? Can you hear me? you know, Many traders struggle with this because they subconsciously believe they can or they should be able to predict outcomes. And this happens a lot, especially when you're new to trading. All right. I don't know why we think this or why we struggle with this, but we think that we should be getting it right. You know, And when things don't go our way, we take it personally, we become emotionally reactive, and then we start to abandon our plan, right? That's when we start to make those crazy, crazy mistakes. In the book Trading in the Zone, Mark Douglas has a chapter where basically he says that certainty is an illusion in trading. And what does it mean to have certainty, Nick?
It's where something is bound not to fail. Like you're 110% sure that this thing is gonna work out. That's like being certain. So yeah, there's nothing like that in trading, apparently.
Apparently. No, certainty is an illusion in trading, and Mark, one of the things that he talks about in the book is successful traders who find consistent success are traders who have trained their minds to think in probabilities. And we've talked a little bit about that, in times past. So it's all about not attaching your identity or your emotions to individual trades, right? We can never really be certain, no matter how great our trading strategy is. We can never be certain that every trade we take is going to go exactly the way we think or we predict it. So that is a topic for discussion that we have today. And we have some questions that we've written out for ourselves. And of course, for you, the audience, you're welcome to join in on the conversation as always. And we're going to dive right in. We are going to dive right in. Is Audit the only one with us today? Who else is with us? Don't be shy. Let us know in the comments. And Nick, are you ready to dive in?
Yeah, I am. You know I'm in some pain, but either ways, I am.
Yeah. So, how would you personally define a successful trade? would you say that it's about the result or the process? And how has your definition changed over time, like in your trading journey and experience?
Okay, for me in the beginning, a successful trade was one which gives me a profit. Yeah. So whether small or big, as long as it's in the green, it's a successful trade. But now I would say successful trade is one that not only is in the green, but one that followed the process correctly. So if it was like a trade that was in the green that was just based off a hunch and everything like that, I'll just say that was a gamble, not really a successful trade. Because either way it would have gone there was a 90% chance it would have gone in the wrong direction because it was off a hunch, whereby when you follow a certain process, that process is supposed to give you an edge, even if it's probabilistic probability, there's a probability of it losing as long as you follow that process and it gives you the profit that you are looking for. That successful trade. Even a loser, I would say, is a successful trade because you only lost what was already predefined. Like if it's 0.5%, 1%, so that's still a successful trade rather than just chasing wins and feeling like, oh, you're invisible and everything like that, and thinking, oh, I'm so super successful in trading. But that's not the case. You have to follow a process, and that's when you can be successful. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for me, um, when I first started trading, I thought a successful trade was a trade that I won. Um, if I'm winning my trades, I'm a success. I'm successful. My trades are successful. With time, I learned that, and this is just me, my personal thought now. I think a successful trade also isn't just a trade that's in the green, but a trade that followed the plan. But for me, that can be even if I lost the trade. So even if I lost the trade, if I know that I followed my plan, you know, and I maintained my discipline and everything was to the T to execution the way that it should have been, but I still lost the trade, then I personally still see that as a success. Um because I did not deviate from my plan and I did not allow my emotions to lead me to making any irrational decisions or emotional trading decisions. I stuck to my plan for how much I want to risk in that day or in that trade, and I did not deviate from it. So for me, I still find that successful. Even if I was in the red, even if I lost. That's how I feel personally. Uh, what about
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
I
agree
can
with you.
I consider even my losers success. Um, you know. Um, so what do you guys think? Do you guys have any opinions about that? We definitely would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share with us in the comments, and join in on the discussion. Um, but moving on, you know, why this next question, why do you think so many traders tie their self-worth to whether a trade wins or loses? Um, can I answer this? Can I go first, Nick?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because I always make you go first, so I'll go first. Um, why do I think so many traders tie their self-worth to whether a trade wins or loses? Ugh. Um, I think a big part of the reason why we tie our self-worth to our wins and our losses is because we put so much time, energy, and effort into learning and developing this skill. And why do we learn this skill? We learn this skill because we want to earn with it. We want to be profitable with it. We want to take profit into our bank account and pay our bills or take care of our family or whatever the case may be. And so when we are not able to do that, um, it could make us feel like a failure. It could make us feel like, wow, I've put so much time, effort, and energy into learning and developing this skill, and I'm not seeing the profitability that I should be seeing. And I think it also doesn't help when we are seeing everyone else who seems to be doing well in comparison to us. Um, and we think that we are less than, because we are not achieving what someone else is achieving. And I think that is something that's something that really impacts our psychology and our self-worth, you know? Um, Nick, what do you think?
All right. Um, I think why many traders tie their wins and losses to their self-worth is mostly because they are letting, I think, their P&L, um, what can I say, affect them. So if like in a losing streak, that kind of affects them psychologically. And then they start saying, oh, I just lost this amount of money. I think I should have used it to buy this and everything like that. There's that which always comes in. I also started like that in the beginning, I believe, where I'll tie a specific amount of money to something that can be bought and everything like that. But once you detach from that, just like the title of our podcast today, detaching from the outcome, once you detach from that, it gives you a sense of peace. Like, a loss is a loss, and especially if you are risking what you can afford, is the most important thing I think of all. Like, if you just end up putting that money, like maybe your savings, your 7 years of savings into trading, and then you're just losing, seeing it go before your very eyes, it can take a toll on you. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I think about. Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. So, can you remember a time for you personally when you had a bad trade that followed your plan? I think you might have said this, but
Yes,
um
yes, yes, yes. But let
yeah,
me. No, I did not go into depth, but this is a good
okay.
question. Continue asking it.
Oh, I was just going to say, can you remember a
Just like
time?
that. Oh yeah, of
No,
course.
when a bad trade actually followed your plan and a good trade was just luck. How did you feel about each one?
Okay, let me start with the bad one, and then I'll start with the good. I'll end with a good one. So a bad one. I remember very well. This was the year 2022. Imagine saying this like 10 years from now, going to be like 2032 either ways. But either ways, yeah, it was when the system that I had created, I was following it religiously. Like, it could be automated, of course, but I was choosing to trade it manually because it wasn't taking like a toll on my time, and it was swing trading, so to say, but it was based off indicators most of the times. So I'd have like a moving average, and then like it would always feel like each and every trade goes the right way, even though like some losses would be there, but the losses would be very minimal. It had like a 80, 70% win rate. It was great. It was great. I loved it. So each and every time, I would follow the process, everything. Then things started going sour. That's when it turned into a bad trade. And then a bad trade led by another bad trade. And that's when I didn't understand market cycles and economic changes and whatnot. I used to think, oh, the market can't affect me in that way. I'm invisible and whatnot. But these are things you need to focus on. You need to always remember that no one system is 100% foolproof or loss proof, I would say. It's not an umbrella. So, yeah, that's the time that I felt really bad over my bad trade. And yeah, it kind of made you feel like a failure, but either ways. Yeah. So that's where it goes. And now you want me to go over to the good trade?
You can, but I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What makes a bad trade a bad trade?
A bad trade is one like okay, because you said where I followed my plan. So a bad trade is actually one where it turned out to be a loss. That's what I would say. Since I followed the plan and everything, but then if you're talking about a bad trade, then that's something else. Like that's one where I followed the system, yes, but because of overconfidence, I started adding more to the position, adding, and saying, "Oh, if I can just make this much, this would be great for my P&L." Then it actually goes totally against you, and your 1% turns into 10% because you kept on adding to the position when there was no reason to even add. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so
Mhm.
then what about your good trade? And how did you feel like about these trades?
Okay, it wasn't too long ago though. We make these mistakes whether you're a veteran in trading, whether you've been trading for 30 years. I'm telling you, the mistakes do happen. So, the good trade, which was merely just luck, was I think I took it on gold and Nasdaq at the same time. And yeah, I just ended up moving my direction almost immediately. And it was all thanks to the volatility that was there during that time. It was like when this whole tariffs thing started. And then I was like, oh, goody, my account is up. Then I closed the position. Then that's when I was like, okay, now it's time to follow my system. Yeah. So that was just purely based on luck, which was still okay. That was still okay, but it's not all the times that you're gonna have that kind of luck. Because if you think, oh, the next trade will also be the same, you're gonna be in for a surprise. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Um, all right. So what practical steps or habits help you to stay detached from the outcome, especially during drawdowns or high stakes? I actually have something I want to share something, you know,
All right, go ahead.
practical. And I think we might have even said, like you, Nick, you talked about the trading plan, right? When we're sticking to our trading plan. I'm trying to think, practical steps. I had them in my brain, but now my brain is
I'm braining.
my brain is braining. Uh,
I'm braining, yeah.
uh, my um. Okay. Oh, and you also touched on this too. Risk only what you're afford to lose.
Yep.
I can't emphasize this enough, guys. I uh
Yes,
and
yes.
I
That's
and
what shocks me sometimes about people.
I sigh. I sigh because traders do this all the time. And it's like you would think we would learn, you know? You would think some traders would learn and they don't. Uh, you know, I was talking to a trader. He's actually doing well right now. Me and him, we had a talk. He was one of our Save traders. And he's finally being consistently profitable, right? And
Yeah.
one of the things he said to me was, Rhea, man, you really hit me in my heart when you said you have the skill, but you don't have the discipline. He was like, I realized that I really didn't, like I was all over the place.
Mhm.
It's like, guys, you can't do that. And as I know, traders hate the consistency score that instant funding prop firms have, not just OFP. But a lot of traders are so grateful for it because it teaches them that consistent risk to reward ratio and really risking what they can afford to lose so that they're within the range they need to be in so that they can qualify for their payout, right? So I can't emphasize enough how that's so important. I'm trying to think what else I had. Oh, marry the process and divorce the outcome.
Yes.
Yeah. Nick, I don't know. What else do you want to add?
No, I think that's basically all you've covered it. Yeah, if I start going on a rant on how traders should not risk more than what they can afford, it's gonna turn into a 1 hour podcast, and it's gonna be like, it's just gonna be like, oh, this guy is just ranting all about, because like I've seen it all around prop firms especially. Yeah, the best and the worst, you name it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it all around. Yeah, so it just always shocks me. Like, okay, there's nothing wrong with taking a risk, but taking a risk all the time, especially if you're not too sure about, again, these are the markets. Anything is possible. Like you can think like this time things are going to really work out. Then Trump just says something that's funny. I know NSA are listening to this, but anyways, Trump just says something that's funny. So it just sends the market crashing down or crashing up, or even just a blip in the market, just like boop, and then goes back up. Your stops are
All it
taken out. Yeah.
all it takes
So
is one Trump tweet, y'all.
yeah. I remember Mark Douglas said it all it takes is one trader around the world to just make that one decision, which will push price in your direction, something like that. But
Yeah.
these days, it only takes Trump to make a decision.
Just on
Either,
you know,
yeah, either your
just
trade is going to
you
go your
know,
way or
he
not.
could be
Yeah,
he could be having a thought in the middle of the day and just tweet something, and the next thing you know, the market's going.
yeah.
So, guys,
Mm,
I mean, you never know. You just never know. So here's one of our last questions we want to touch on before we wrap it up for today. Um, Nick, what do you think? Do you think true detachment means not caring, or it just means caring differently? And how can traders care deeply about their trading without letting outcomes control their emotions?
okay. I think it's about caring differently from my perspective because it just reminds me of one guy who's like an old mentor of mine from Malaysia. He okay, he wasn't trading manually, he was just using EAs most of the times, but he would have a threshold on the EA, like it shouldn't go more than 30% in a drawdown. Like everything just closes from there. Then he needs to like reevaluate and see if it was an error in the code or it was just the market doing its thing. So those are the two things that he would look at. So I think that can still be applied to a trader. Like they can have a system. They may have back tested it in for like probably 10 years. and they find that it only had like a 10% drawdown. Then you can say to yourself, if this system starts to go into 15% drawdown, then maybe needs to be reevaluated to see if it's really viable for the foreseeable future, or you probably need to tweak it a little bit to make it better and reduce those drawdowns. So, coming back to your question, yeah, it's about carrying a different rate because, like, if you're risking a certain percentage per trade and you're comfortable with the loss and you've already put that outcome in your mind that if things go to the worst, I'm only going to lose 15% of my account. If you can make peace with that, then you have nothing to worry about. I think that's like life's hack on everything, I would say. So that's the thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think it's a matter of caring differently. So it's not that we don't care. We do care about our trading, but we care differently. We are more focused on being committed to the process that we've created for ourselves than we are focused on being committed to the outcome. And that's what it means to be detached without the need to be right. Um, when you understand the probabilities of how trading works, when you've back tested your strategy and you know the numbers, you know this many trades out of taking this many trades are going to be winners versus losers. When you've trained your brain to understand those numbers and those probabilities, it becomes easier for you to focus more on your process, to focus more on your plan, and to show up consistently for your process and your plan without being attached to the outcome. Because you know, no matter what, as long as you stick to the process consistently day after day, the numbers are going to even themselves out in the end. Even if this particular trade that you took today didn't work out. Tomorrow's a new day. The markets are different today than what they were yesterday. It's a whole new opportunity. And as long as I'm sticking to my process, sticking to my plan, then I don't need to be right as far as every outcome for every trade that I take. I already know that that's not going to happen. I already know the probabilities. I've back tested. I know these things. So when you get to that point, it's not that you're caring, overly caring. You're just caring differently with a different state of mind and understanding. And I would say, as far as what you can do, what I just said, back test your strategy, have a plan and a process and a strategy, back test your plan, your process, and your strategy, and know the numbers. Know your strategy is 40% winning, 40% of the time. Well, that means out of every 10 trades you take, you're only winning 4. So why are you crying? Why are you upset? I lost 5 of my trades. Yeah. Out of every 10 trades you take, you only win 4. So that means you're losing how many, Nick? How many are we losing out of 10?
I lost count for a bit, sorry.
6. We're losing 6 trades. We're losing 6
Uh-huh.
trades out of 10 and only winning 4. That's what having a 40% win ratio is. Our job is to make sure that the 4 trades that we are winning are as profitable as they possibly can be. And that is where
Yeah.
our risk management comes in. That's why risk management is so important. I know traders who have 30% win ratios and are super profitable.
Uh-huh.
It can be done. But this is where the planning and the strategizing comes in. And when you have that plan and that strategizing and that understanding, that's when it becomes easier to detach because you know your numbers. So it's kind of like, okay, I guess the odds weren't in my favor today. And that's okay. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, Nick?
Oh, I totally agree with that because that's literally what I've been doing for the past few years, making
Mm-hmm.
sure I know my win rate, everything. Yeah, and the outcome, like just what the outcome could be. It could be worse, but if at least you know the median outcome, then yeah, you are destined for success in trading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So this has been a great, discussion for us to have. And I know sometimes we talk about some of these things in different ways at different times, but they're that important, to discuss, especially as our audience changes with time, right? Um, but if you guys got any value out of this, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to know if you guys got any takeaways. I have a mantra for y'all today. I'm going to type it in the comments. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to type it in the comments. Hold on. Let me write this for you. Hold on. All right. Here's a mantra for you guys. A good trade is one where I followed my plan regardless of the result. That's a mantra we want to leave with you guys. A good trade is one where I followed my plan regardless of the result. Let's all practice detaching from the result. Focus on becoming masters of the process. Because when we focus on becoming masters of the process, naturally the results are going to come. Guys, thank you for coming to hang out with us today. And, we hope that we were able to share some value with you guys. If you did receive anything, if you took anything away from this, let us know. Leave us a note in the comments. Hey, Metaphor. Thank you so much for the love. We appreciate it. We send that love right back to you. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought. What did you learn? What did you take away? What has you thinking about your trading approach? What do you think you're going to do different, in the days to come, weeks to come? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to share this with your trading friends so that they can get some value too. Let's spread the love and the wisdom, I guess we could call it. And as always, stay sharp, keep a winning mindset, and remember, Nick, you took your
Uh,
mic. You took your mic off.
yes,
Like you want.
yes, yes, yes. And remember, with Forex Focus, winning is just one trade away.
Yeah, success is just one trade away.
Oh, success is one trade away. Yes.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
got it. You got it, my friend. All right, guys, we are going to sign out for this lovely Monday. Well, I can't talk. We will be back hopefully next Monday. All right,
All
guys,
right.
have a successful trading week, and we'll see you soon.